Jeremiah literally just running down the driveway, bouncing his basketball with our puppy. Puppy ran in front of him. He tripped over the dachshund and landed headfirst into the concrete, directly on the left side of his head.
Brought him into the bathroom, cleaned him up. When I asked him what happened, he just kind of gave me this blank stare, and he said, I don't know what happened, Mom.
It was really interesting. He actually just started kind of walking around in circles and was kind of bumping into the walls. And obviously at that point, I was pretty concerned. My entire professional life has been spent as a neurosurgical physician assistant. I take care of kids with severe head injuries. I know that I would have felt better. I would have slept better at night. We would have all slept better at night if I at least took him to the hospital, got him checked out, and made sure that somebody else gave us the thumbs up and the all clear, and it wasn't just me. While we were en route to the hospital is when things really got scary and when things really changed.
He was looking out the window and was very confused by passing cars, complaining that he couldn't lift his arms, but he was lifting his arms.
And of course, that made me very, very nervous. I was now beating myself up because I felt like at this point I should have just called 911. Had I known that things were going to get this bad this fast, I should have just called 911 and let the ambulances come. But I didn't know that was going to happen.
It was really scary because I love my kids. And I just couldn't figure out what life would be without him. And my heart was really grieving for his twin sister because she was watching this.
I was really nervous because I was worried that he might not make it, and I wasn't sure if everything was going to be all right. And I was thinking about, well, what if I didn't say something nice to him? What if the last word I said to him was something mean?
I was scared. Jillian was scared. I looked at Josh in the rearview mirror, and his face just looked of fear.
He started trying to get out of the car, saying my stomach hurts really bad and stuff like that. And so my dad got on the phone and he called the hospital and he said,
"Look, I'm coming in with my son. Something is terribly wrong. I'm not waiting in the emergency room. I'm not checking him in. I'm going to come straight to the ambulance bay and I want to take him straight to the CAT scanner." At this point, I'm convinced we're going to need to call the helicopter. But more than that, I was truly worried that it was too late. I was truly worried that we had gotten so far into this that there was a chance that he wasn't going to make it. Everything that was happening pointed at a severe head injury with some kind of a hemorrhage. He starts vomiting on the way to the hospital. And I know that there's this lucid interval, which is, folks being involved in a terrible car accident, walking around for about an hour like nothing's wrong, and then immediately dying.
We needed to pray. And everyone was in their own state, so I was like, okay, I'm going to be the prayer. I'm going to be the calm one. And so I just put my hand on Jeremiah's chest.
Then he starts, coming in and out of consciousness. He starts passing out.
And so when I put my hand on his chest, I said, God, this is your child.
Again, if these aren't operated on immediately, these patients die.
And you have a plan and you have a purpose for him.
At this point, we're about 50 minutes past the injury.
I don't believe it's over.
I could look in the rearview mirror and I could see this huge expanding hematoma or blood clot underneath the scalp.
He vomits. As soon as he was done vomiting, he started sneezing.
One right after the other. Literally, I don't even know how many times it was, maybe 5 to 10 sneezes, and it was just 1, 2, 3, right after the other. Of all the kids I've seen with head injuries and adults and trauma victims, I've never seen that. The second he finished his last sneeze, he literally sat up, opened his eyes, looked around like nothing ever happened.
Offered him a tissue. He's like, I don't need to blow my nose. And at that point, he's having full conversation, like, why are you giving me a tissue? I'm fine. He said, well, where are we going? And I said, we're going to the hospital. He said, why? And I'm like, to get you checked out? And so we pull into, the ER bay, and like nothing had ever happened. Just walks out, greets the people at the front door with his friendly hello.
They took him to get a CAT scan, and results came out negative, which was really good.
I just called ahead, hit the panic button, and told them we need to bypass everything and get him straight to the scanner. And here we are sitting in the emergency room, yucking it up with the ED doc with a negative head CT, and my son is sitting there acting completely normal. I think I lost a lot of credibility at that point, but I'll give it away anytime because, in all honesty, there's no doubt. I know he had an intracranial injury that was going to result in something terrible happening had there not been intervention, had God not intervened in a miraculous way.
And we just were like in awe. Like, this child who is not okay is perfect. I'm reminded that intentional prayer matters. Speaking scripture matters. And at that moment, I knew that laying hands on him and praying for him is what God called me as a mother to do. We are to pray for our children. God gave us these children to protect, and as mothers, we have to pray for them. Our children know that we're praying for them. They hear us and they watch us. And so claiming a miracle, that's just saying God is real and that he is going to do amazing things in all of our lives.
I know that my son is here today because God heard our prayers and because he chose to intervene in a miraculous way. God is out there and he is still listening and he is still moving. And miracles don't just happen to people in the Old Testament or in the New Testament. Miracles aren't just happening in faraway countries. Miracles are happening here every day. And there's no doubt in my mind that this was a miracle.